Hello and welcome. I recently just finished watching the Pokemon Presents and I wanted to give my thoughts on Gen 10. Firstly, the visuals are a massive upgrade, providing they're true to the game. There's some blurriness in some of the textures and lack of shadows in some places, but if that's the worst of it and it runs well, then well done for the first time in years. It looks good. The Pokemon models look good, and Pokemon like Slugma providing its own lighting to the dark environment around it is fantastic. We won't need things like Flash when you have a Pokemon with natural fires on them, or maybe even electricity. The big gimmick that's not battle related is Winds and Waves, the title of the games. It's clear underwater exploration will be a big thing, and in the trailer there's a lot of focus on water in general. Hopefully the dex is stuffed with water types to make it feel varied and more distinguishable between routes. When people complain about Hoenn having too much water, either seriously or jokingly because of IGN, usually what I think people actually mean is that they just don't want to see the same 3 water type Pokemon over and over again, so a big dex of water types could really help. This would also give me even less of a reason to choose the water starter. The winds element almost seems like an afterthought, but I'm expecting 1 sky legendary and 1 water legendary. I doubt we'll see it, but I would like some kind of sky exploration like Tears of the Kingdom. That could be great to add to the winds theming, even if it's just something silly like being able to stand on clouds, and being able to fly across water routes quickly, with the option of diving instead if you want to do that. That would also add to the feeling of choice, which, in an open world game, is always a good thing. Starter thoughts. Brout I expect to gain flight for its eyebrows in its evolution. I feel like it's too prominent of a feature to forget about when it evolves, I think. Whether it completely flies for its eyebrows or they're just an extra set of wings, I don't know. I thought a fruit bat would have been a good grass starter this time around, but I guess not. I think it's an owl, which another grass owl starter is funny. I expect this one to be the most humanoid starter this time around of the final evolutions. Grass flying feels like an easy choice to pick, but Decidueye isn't that. I actually think this final evolution could end up being Grass Fairy, and maybe it will grow fruit on it, who knows. Pom Bomb is amazing and is easily my choice. I love dogs, I usually pick the fire starters. It's unlikely that its evolutions will turn me away from picking this. I expect it to evolve into a Chow, probably for its middle evolution. I'm not sure on the final evolution, as it could be something like a Caucasian Shepherd for its size and fluffiness. I expect the final evolution to be inspired by an Asian dog breed. I know Pomeranians aren't an Asian dog breed, they're from around Germany or Poland. There's the Tibetan Mastiff, which would make a lot of sense, as I feel like that's the natural evolution. When I look at a Pomeranian, I think, oh yeah, that'll evolve into a Chow. I look at a Chow, I think, oh yeah, that'll evolve into a Tibetan Mastiff. And while I know Pokemon aren't against reusing ideas and swapping up concepts, they did just do a Mastiff Pokemon last generation, even if it wasn't wholly inspired by a Tibetan Mastiff. I also think the dog could maybe be an Akita. They're snow dogs, and this could mean a Fire-Ice type dog starter, which would be absolutely incredible. So I'm kinda hoping for that. Gekwa is alright. It's a leopard gecko, I'm guessing. Gives them a chance to redeem themselves for Inteleon, which I never liked. Hopefully they go in a much more animalistic direction this time. I think to help Gekwa stand out from similar concepts we've had in the past, this is the first time I'm predicting Dragon type added to a final evolution for a starter Pokemon, which would make Gekwa's final evolution Water Dragon. Final thing to end on, 2027 release is shocking and in the best way. It's also leaving behind Switch 1, which is fantastic. Even though Pokemon games could have looked far better on Switch 1, I'm not denying that. The hardware is always going to be a limitation. Then being able to build the game on Switch 2 only means they'll have a lot less limitations, and that'll help out the graphics, the frame rate, it'll help out everything, providing they have the time and the talent, and I do think they've got the talent. It releasing in 2027 is huge. I think that means we could be going up to 5 years between generations instead of the usual 3, which Pokemon has been needing. Scarlet and Violet were a mess on release despite the ambition, and I think the 2027 release date's going to help massively. Anyway, that's all for my first thoughts on Gen 10 here. What did you think of the Gen 10 trailer? Let me know in the comments. Please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, or using hype points. And until next time, bye I guess.